What's up, guys and girls? Odin is one of the biggest characters in God of War 2018 that we didn't get a chance to see. However, we've got more than enough info from the game and the novel to get a clear indication of how powerful he truly is. Of course, thanks Edgar for giving me a lot of information on the topic, and really nice discussing these topics with you. Let's jump right into the video. Let's start off with an entry from the God of War novel. This entry shows how powerful Odin has got with Vanir magic. In the novel, the scene where Freya was getting pulled back to Midgard after helping Kratos and Atreus reach Alfheim, Kratos remarked how this force that was pulling Freya was far more powerful than anything he had ever experienced. This is a big deal because Kratos had a fair amount of encounters with magic attacks, such as Zeus. And if you watched my Zeus power video, you know how strong he truly is. Odin has gotten so good with magic that it topples anything Kratos has felt in his past. Odin also killed the giant Ymir. Now, who exactly is Ymir? Ymir was a giant, the first being to ever exist in this world actually. Ymir granted life to other giants as well. Odin had stabbed Ymir in the belly, ending the giant's life. Ymir's blood flooded across all of the realms and almost caused the destruction of the giants Ymir created.
Begins in an ocean of blood.
Finally, a story worth hearing.
If you remember, Ymir, the first giant, was fatally stabbed by Odin. It's in his blood our story starts. Ymir's magical guts poured out in a torrent so violent it threatened to flood all of creation. The Jotnar were unprepared, as the very last of them were washed away in the endless tide. Not just Ymir, but all of giant kind faced extinction.
Since Ymir's blood managed to flood all of the realms, which means that Ymir's blood had to travel through the World Tree Yggdrasil. And the World Tree is an infinite size that expands through time and space and creates so much. Ymir was in fact a primordial being, thus being able to give life and create the giants, similar to the beings in Ascension that created the Greek world. And Odin was more powerful enough to take out Ymir despite all of this. Since Odin technically originated from Ymir, this might actually make him a primordial being as well. Odin, in the real mythology anyways, actually created the mortals, but since this was never mentioned in the game, at least nowhere I could find, he may be able to create life just like Ymir, but we just didn't get any lore on that just yet. Moving on from Ymir, did you know that Odin was the one that corrupted the Valkyries? One of the Valkyries was so fast, she could be at any conflict and always be the first one there. Here is a scene talking about that.
Who is she?
Gunnar, Mistress of War. After any conflict, big or small, she would be first on the scene, sussing out the worthy spirits for a free trip to Valhalla. A gruesome task, but she took great pride in it.
Any conflict? Impossible.
It's true. She had help from her sisters, of course, but Gunnar was always first to arrive. Her judgment of the fallen was unparalleled, and an invaluable resource to Odin. She was one of his favorites.
This is once again said in the book Lore and Legends. If this Valkyrie was so fast she could be at any conflict and always be the first one there, that means Odin had to be even faster than her, simply because he defeated them and corrupted them. It's the only way he could corrupt them. Odin must have a teleportation skill or just very fast in combat himself. Overall though, Odin's true power comes from more than just his power, his magic, but it comes from his knowledge, his ability to manipulate you. Here is Corey Barlog talking about it.
To process that, right? She's still dealing with the fact that Odin is a giant douche, right? And the things that he did to her, right? Because he's the psychological warrior, right? Odin is kind of this character that he's not about punching you in the face, right? He's about, the psychological manipulation of saying, we're going to get a divorce and I'm going to make your son choose me. Right? How messed up is that?
Odin is a being that seeks knowledge, and once he learns enough about you, he can use that knowledge to control you. make you see things differently. Work on that angle for a long time since you eventually fall on his side. Prime example was Balder. Balder was manipulated with his hatred of his mother. Odin made that hatred grow and grow to the point where he does everything that Odin says, hoping for a cure that would never come. But in Balder's mind, like Kratos' belief in the Greek gods, this is all he has for Odin to release him of this curse, when Odin knows he probably can't get rid of it. He's just using it to his advantage. Ymir also says this as well. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. If you want something else to watch in this category, we made a How Fast is Hermes video where I actually did that calculation. We did a Zeus video as well. How powerful is the king of the gods in Greek? I'd love to know your thoughts on those videos. I'm going to be out of here. Thank you guys for listening. Deuces.